Systems nominal. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Signal array locked. Packet sync confirmed. Welcome all. You're connected to the Konotop Deep Space Signal Relay.
And we are live. Right, so this is something pretty different. I've not done anything like this before. Live streaming, and this time rather than music, as is usually the content on my channel, I'm having a go at a project that I've been wanting to do for a long time, which is to create some sort of graphic art project, some AI art as well. I do lots of painting and drawing when I am in the mood for it, and this is going to be an avenue that I can explore that kind of work with. There's a few ideas that I've got already. A particular project is to use a storyline called Second Variety by Philip K. Dick, and it is a sci-fi story, and it's public domain now, which means that I can do pretty much what I want with it, and we'll just sort of take it as it comes, really. So if anybody pops in the chat, it'll be good to hear from them. But I'm not expecting this one to take off quite as well as some of my music has done in the past. But so be it. We'll see what happens. And Peter T, hi, Happy New Year. I've just said I didn't think anybody would pop in the chat on this one, but I'm really happy that you have. So nice to see you. I've decided on this occasion I'm going to move away from music to start with. This project is going to be more graphic art, illustration, that sort of thing. But I'll pull in some music to create some sort of visual product at the end. It might be like a film kind of thing, but rather than animated, it's going to be stills with voiceover and music and perhaps sound effects and all that kind of stuff. So we'll see what happens. Peter, I hope you had a really good New Year. Mine was hectic, lots of stuff going on with family moving houses, lots of people coming to visit us, which was wonderful. Way too much food, a little bit of booze. So yeah, it was good. I hope yours was what you wanted. It was nice to just get away from my day job too for a period of time. So yeah, that was cool. I did some music. I've prepared some stuff on my Novation circuit, some patches and some patterns, and I did a live jam earlier today, which you could check out if you've not had a chance to yet. And I'm also quite excited because I've ordered a new piece of gear as well, which is the Behringer Edge, it's a bit of a clone, rip-off, whatever you want to call it, of the Moog DFAM. So that's going to be really good for sub bass and some real analog gritty sounds to go along with all the drum kit and the digital synths that I've got on the circuit. So that'll be fun when time comes for that. But yeah, that won't come till later on. Peter, you love watching sci-fi to inspire your techno. Cool. Well, hopefully this will be of interest to you. I don't know if you know anything about Philip K. Dick, the author of the story that I'm looking at sort of adapting or developing. But he did quite a lot of stuff that Hollywood has used. He wrote short stories, Minority Report. He did the full novel, I think, Blade Runner, or that Blade Runner was based on, called Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep? What else did he do? Screamers, which Second Variety is based on. Oh, there's a Scanner Darkly. I think he wrote that. Oh, there's a bunch of others that slip my mind at the minute, but yeah, that's the kind of thing that we're looking at. So the story itself, I'll give it a quick overview before I jump into any of the rest of this. But the story itself is all it's set in a nuclear winter. The Russians and the Americans, because it was written in the 50s, I think, were in conflict. The Earth has become like a wasteland, and there are robots and stuff which are still kicking around that were developed earlier in the war. But instead of being allied to either one side or the other, the robots or claws, as they're called in this story, seem to have developed their own agenda, and that's where the story sort of starts off. Yeah, Peter, the Beringer Edge should be really good fun for me, I think. I love the circuit and its workflow and the sort of analog emulation that you can do, but it's digital, obviously, so it doesn't have that sort of real gritty quality that I'm after. So the Edge should do that, I think. As soon as I get it, I'll be playing with it, and there'll be plenty of jams and stuff coming out based on that. So yeah, did you get any gear for Christmas, or have you had a chance to play with any gear for Christmas in the way of music stuff? Right, let's make a start on this. I'll pull up the story for my own benefit as well as for yours. Let me just find it here. Second, right, here we go. Original text. This is going to take me just a second. I should have prepared this, but I didn't. So it is, as I say, it is a short story. Okay, let's go to here. And I've not got my camera with my face set up yet. So it's quite a lengthy short story, really. And I will put a link to it in the description. But basically, it starts off with a Russian soldier clambering up a hillside, some Americans monitoring his progress in secret, looking at him through binoculars as he approaches. And then pretty quickly, one of these creatures, these claws, attacks the Russian soldier and cuts him into bits, drags him into the ground, and then he's never seen again. So that, I'm thinking, is a pretty gruesome way to start a story, but that's how it goes, and that's the sort of thing that we're dealing with here. So I figured that there's going to be so many moving parts to this project, characters that I have to visualize, bits of equipment, scenery, landscapes, all that kind of stuff that I'm going to have to visualize. So if I'm going to do this properly, it's going to need a lot of planning and a lot of time to sort of develop all those individual bits. So I'm just going to have to make a start, really. Peter, I was considering the Edge, but purchased a very good condition used circuit monostation instead. That's a good bit of kit as well, I gather. I've not used one, but they sound pretty cool in some of the live jams that I've heard. DJ Emo has one, and he uses it a lot. So check out his page. He does some good stuff with that. I should have some background music running, but I haven't actually set my gear up properly, unfortunately, today. So that's not happening just yet. Right, so what I will do is jump into Critter, which is a graphic art package. 1 second. And I am a complete novice with this program. However, I have had a quick play with it. This has now absolutely blown my mind because it has not only all of the art tools that you would expect from something akin to Photoshop, like painting tools, but also it has, up in the top right hand corner here, it has a link to the Stable Diffusion AI graphic art engine. And if I'll give you a quick demo, really, because that is pretty much what today's going to be. It's going to be quick demos, quick ideas, some sketches, and we'll see how we go from here. So you have two sections here in this program for prompts. So you've got a positive prompt, so what you want to see in the image, and then a negative prompt, what you want to avoid. So, of course, me being live streaming, I'm going to try and avoid wherever possible nude, not safe for work, that kind of stuff. So we'll pop that in the prompt to start with, just to be safe. But I thought to start with, I will try and do something like a wasteland landscape. So we'll do exactly that. Wasteland landscape, dusty. We'll have a nuclear bunker, and we'll call it quits on that and see where we go. Before I start the Stable Diffusion engine running, I will actually just do a little sketch of my own to prompt it, because it would be really easy just to sort of create images just from the prompts. And I might just do that at some stage. But what I thought is I'll at least give myself a fighting chance of coming across as somewhat artistic, which is perhaps a big ask, but we'll see how we go. So I'll start laying out something that we could call at least a sketch. And in the few tests that I did, actually painting rather than sketching outlines of things, I think is the right direction to pursue to start with, because it gives the engine itself something concrete to work with rather than being just outlines and stuff, because what it will do then is it will try and create, again, just outlines. So let's do a nuclear bunker with some perspective on it around here. And again, this is going to be just a test. I'm not going to hold myself to anything concrete here. So Peter, what since you're in chat and you're saying hello, what kind of sci-fi stuff do you particularly like? It'd be good to hear whether this is even going to be in the same ballpark as the kind of things that you like. My favorites, I think, are Star Wars as a kid. Not so much now. I don't think they've done a great deal that I like with Star Wars for the last decade or so. Dune, I absolutely love the original story, as well as the first of the Denis Villeneuve films. Big fan of Arthur C. Clarke, 2001, all that kind of thing. I think perhaps we want some. Do we want some dark? Yeah, I think we want some dark clouds here rather than completely pale blue sky. Alternative art films and foreign stuff. Ooh, okay. I'm going to make a guess and show my ignorance, because this is the only sort of foreign sci-fi film that I know of. What about Solaris by, is it Tarkovsky? Written by Stanislaw Lem, who's a Polish author, and I know this because my wife is Polish. But yeah, he did Solaris, and the same filmmaker made Stalker, which is also a cool story, I believe. I've yet to finish watching Stalker. I started it, but I never saw it all the way through. So we've got a bit of a silhouette of a bunker. Let's see whether we can work into this a little bit more. And I have no plan for this. I'm just kind of winging it, making it up as I go. Let's get some lights in here. I kind of need to figure out what this shape is that I'm scribbling. I'm not sure yet. Aniara and Vespa are recent favourites. I know nothing about those. I shall have to do some digging. Thanks, Peter. This is starting to look like a cowshed, not a bunker as such. Maybe I need to reshape that bit somewhat. Let's go a bit darker again here. In love with the sound design from Oblivion. Oh, the Tom Cruise movie. Yes. If you love Oblivion, the one that I'm thinking of, the Tom Cruise film, you should check out a podcast which I'm a big fan of and I'm a big follower of, called Martini Giant. And a couple of the guys, or at least one of the guys on Martini Giant, there are three hosts, actually worked on Oblivion, did a lot of the visual graphics, the CGI artwork on there. Okay, so we've got a really crude sketch and we've got a couple of prompts. So what we can do next is we can go live and then start the Stable Diffusion engine, and we shall see what it comes up with. What's it doing? There we go. Oh, there we go. So that's a start. See, doesn't require too much talent these days when you've got tools like this. So that could be a nuclear bunker in like a sandy wasteland. And then we've got this strength bar here that gives varying results. The more you put the strength up, the more the engine will work itself to develop new parts to the picture. So if I whack this all the way up, it's obviously taken my sketch and run with it and done something crazy detailed. Whereas if I go back to the left on here, it adheres more closely to my image and uses less creativity of its own, if you want to call it that. So there we go. That's a starter for 10. This is the kind of thing that I was hoping to use to start with, at least, to give me some artistic direction and some inspiration. So I believe what I can do, and again, this is first time I've done this so much, is to take this image here and drop it back into the sketch. I think this is where it's all going to go wrong because I've not done this before. Control net. No, that's not what I wanted. That's control net. Control net's something else I will talk about later on. This is where it was all going to fall down. I should be able to... Is it that one? Copy the current result to the image as a new layer. Yes, boom. There we go. So what Stable Diffusion produced from my crude sketch is now concrete information in my picture here. And I can turn off or pause the Stable Diffusion engine. And this is just basically a piece of painting work that I can continue from. The next thing I could do, I mean, I could ditch my original sketch if I like what I did with the engine. I could create a new layer. No, that's not what I want. Ditch that. Add a paint layer, which is transparent. So this is like my initial sketch, the CGI image that's been generated, and then a clear sheet of new layer that I can work with. So what we could do next is turn this off, clear the prompt. Actually, no, I'll keep that bit in. And let's try soldier with a rifle. Let's do rugged modern soldier. And then we'll have another go. Arrival is another of your favorites. Yes, I really enjoyed that one. That had such a strong story. I gather it's based on a book, but I can't remember who wrote the book, or whether it's called Arrival, or whether it's got another title. But I've been meaning to check that one out because I, like you, I love the film. So I'm going to try and do a silhouette of a person, and I'm going to keep in mind the positioning here. So let's again just work up a very rough sketch. And I probably need to get a collection of brushes that are slightly better suited than what I'm using here, but we'll keep going for the minute. Again, just testing out different processes and techniques. So let's carve into this a little bit. That was bad. And maybe we'll try and give him some kind of a rucksack. And I'm hoping that with time I'll get more used to the tool set, because I don't know Critter that well. I've used Photoshop quite a bit with the tablet. There's something funny about this brush. It's kind of not giving me a smooth result. It kind of judders a little bit, but that could be user error. So how am I going to... Let's put a rifle in there. Like he's kind of carrying it across his chest. This is very cool, by the way. Thanks, Peter. Thank you. I'm hoping by the time we get a few more streams underway, or at least a few more pictures sketched out, that this could be something fun. For the moment, it is just a test. If we give him a slightly bigger profile around the head to symbolize it, some kind of helmet. Again, the AI should help us out a bit. And we can do some better skin tone here. The more I can suggest the actual image, the more I'll feel like I'm actually doing something constructive and creative, rather than just going, "Go on, computer, you do it," which I think is the... I think that's the worry, and B, that's the thing that other people are going to say, "Well, he didn't really do much work on it. He just used CGI, used the computer." So, okay, let's run with that. How does that work? It's mirrored the exact image that I was thinking of. Okay, so he's looking in the wrong direction, but that's fine. I don't know if the right thing to do was to leave all that white, because if I create that as a new layer, I'm probably going to have to hack out all of the white around it. Oh well, let's see what happens. So I could probably try blend mode on that if I know what I'm doing. So let's take what we've got there, and yeah, I'm going to have to erase all the white, I think. Never mind. This tool only works on vector layers. You probably want the move tool. Okay, so where's the move tool? There we go. Okay, so he's there. Actually, I could probably flip it 180 degrees if I can figure out how to do that. Sort of. There we go. That's kind of what I wanted. It's a bit blurry, but I suppose we could pretend this is depth of field. All right. That is good. And then we've got our previously generated. Yeah, okay. This is what I feared. I've not really thought through how the white is going to be erased. There's an eraser tool in here somewhere. I know with the back of my stylus I can erase things. So, I mean, the first image is kind of coming together sort of quicker than I thought. I knew this would be possible and I had a rough idea of what the workflow could be, but that's actually a lot quicker than I thought. Where this is going to be tougher is the whole concept of reproducible characters. So if I've got somebody who has a bald head, glasses, a bit like me, or let's say I've got a person with red hair and they always wear a green t-shirt, that is not something that would be so easy to reproduce, particularly getting facial features to look the same on each occasion, because the computer will just go off and do its own thing unless you really specify a lot of stuff, and even then you can't get stuff completely reproducible. So because this engine is still running, it has taken what you can see on the screen, despite the fact that this is hacked out really badly in the last couple of minutes by me, and is using that to again regenerate a new picture. So if I move this guy over here, that moves over there as well. So it's just so powerful what you can do with this. What else could we do in this? Maybe we have composition. This is where my composition is going to get challenged to its max. What could we add? Maybe we want a bush of some kind here. So this layer is okay to continue working on. Let's do something here. What's it do? Oh, it's putting sand dunes in there. Let's type near bushes and shrubs. There we go. Ooh, my OBS has gone funny. Looks like the chat window's vanished, so let's see what's going on here. Oh dear. Not sure what's going on there with my OBS, so hopefully you can still hear me. No. Something's gone funny. Current views. Right, well, I shall carry on regardless and hope that my connection is still fine. How can I zoom in again? There we go. So I don't know if this is exactly the sort of aesthetic that I was initially planning on, because it looks quite desert-like. Whereas maybe I want something cooler and more rugged. We'll see. Controls. Transitions. Yeah, my chat windows died in OBS, so don't understand that. Okay. Now here's something also that's a bit weird. That soldier looks like he's holding something different, not like a rifle anymore. Try machine gun. Oh well. So what we could also do, so we'll do winter, cold, and we can crank up the strength of this a bit. Oh, we've lost it and it's gone to a tank. Yeah, that's looking more like tanks than a bunker because I haven't got a prompt in there for a bunker anymore. Silo. There we go. That's looking a little better. So we could take that maybe as our first image. I think I actually preferred the earlier iteration where I didn't have the bushes, to be fair. So let's get rid of that. And we'll get rid of those. Because it looked a little bit too desert-like, actually. Maybe we can change some colours around. A bit darker. That's better. That's more like it. And I kind of want some rubble and stuff on the ground, maybe. So we'll do that. And we'll add that to here. Now, with prompts, as I'm doing it up in this top corner here, with prompts, if you put brackets around stuff, you can group things together. And the more brackets, I mean, if I put like 3 brackets like that, for example, around the prompt, it will add more weight to it. So if I do rubble, and gravel and stones, and we'll put that inside. Let's just do 1 bracket and we'll put a weight of 1.5 and see what happens there if I paint a few more bits and pieces. I really hope the stream is working because my chat window disappeared in OBS, which is the streaming software that I'm using. And then when I look at YouTube, the page is freaking out and showing me like the beginnings of my stream from about 20 minutes, half an hour ago, which is just really weird. I don't get it. So if somebody can ping me a text or ping me a message just to let me know that they can see the stream, then that would be cool. We'll see. Again, carrying on regardless. You know what I should have done is just record this as well, and I forgot to start the recording. So, controls. Start recording. Okay, there we go. Right, back to it. What I think I also want to do is at the beginning of this prompt is do photograph ultra realistic and see how that changes stuff. All right. Okay. That's kind of more what I was looking for. So let's do rubble. Let's see if I can do some rubble with steel. What's it called? Reinforcement. And we'll take something like that. Rats. I'm looking to try and do something like the rebar that you get inside destroyed buildings and things, but it's not picking up on it. Steel reinforcement. Maybe we'll do something less obvious there. There we go. I'm happier with that. So let's take that. Okay. Right. So I'm going to call that step number 1. So what we got there is an initial kind of sketch, if you like, and the way Stable Diffusion works is it has a set image size that it can generate off the bat. So with this one, it's 512 by 512 pixels, which is pretty tiny, really, and that's why the image kind of looks a little blurred. But what I'll do is I'll save that, and then I'll put it into another Stable Diffusion program called Automatic 1111, and that allows you to use an AI upscaler. So that should then create a bigger version of the same kind of image. So we'll give that a try. So let's file, save as, stick it on my desktop, and we'll call it image. Actually, I've got to export, I think. Export. Desktop, we'll call it image 1, and we'll do it as a PNG, save. Okay. And then I need to start up Stable Diffusion. Let's minimize that. This background I did with Stable Diffusion in like 15 seconds as well. It's just so cool what you can do with it. So once that starts running, here we go. What we can do is then go to, 1 second here, image to image, plug that into there. Right. So we go, I've dragged that into the image to image tab, and I think what I should just be able to do is do high res in there, and then because this is 512 by 512, I can then say, make the image bigger. So we'll do, let's say, twice the size. I've got a denoising strength of 0.5. I'm going to use this engine. And we'll do, let's say, 50 steps. I don't know, 50 steps might be too many. After detailer, we can use for faces. And we can do what? Actually, let's do bodies first. And then faces as a second one. So we're going to do high res, modern soldier, nuclear, bunker, winter, rubble, steel, reinforcement, and let's see what happens. We'll just give that a try. Go generate. It's taking its time. But what it's doing is basically taking that image and then blowing it up, but using AI to then fill in the blanks, if you like, and clean up the end result. So we'll see what we get. This is the after detailer that is then going in and saying, this is a face and this is a human body. So let's add more detail to those using prompts that are appropriate. That's probably looking at part of the human body and figuring out that that's legs or something. And that's definitely working on the face. Okay, so end result. I think that's pretty reasonable as a sketch. There's obviously stuff that I could work into from there, but I'm pretty comfortable with that actually as a first go. So what we'll do then is use this CFG scale. This controls how much strength with which the engine sticks to the prompt. So if I whack that prompt all the way up, it will adhere even more closely to these items here that I put in. And there's a random number generator here, this seed prompt here. So I could do exactly what we've got here with a slightly different prompt and then get, again, a slightly different image. So let's do... change that to ultra high res. We'll put vignette. Movie grain. Just throw a couple of extra bits and pieces that are slightly different in there. I'll turn that up and we'll just go again and see what we get as an outcome, because it should be slightly different. Maybe not that different. I'll be interested to see how well my computer copes with this actually, because doing a live stream, recording, and using AI software all at the same time, that could be too much for it. I don't know. I don't appear to have lost any frames or anything. And it's saying I've been live for 48 minutes, so we'll see. All right. Okay. So what looked like maybe a radio or something has been interpreted by the AI as something different. That looks like a flower or a bit of moss or something on his forehead, but we'll see. Okay, so that I think is like a round trip process of what I was thinking of doing. So there's so much material in this story that I can work with. There's so many other aspects to this. What I've just done is a square image. In fact, that could be my next step, is to show you in painting. So I'm going to have to plan out each scene. I'm going to have to come up with the way the novelization or the novel translates to graphic art and translates to individual. There's a term for it, and I've forgotten what it's called. Not captions. Frames of comic book. I'm going to have to figure out where my lettering goes. I've got all this kind of stuff to work through. But this is kind of like a proof of concept, if you like. So let's go back to the image. Where are we? Now, if we go image to image, and instead we move over to in paint, so I send this to no, that's not right. I've sent that picture back to itself. So that one that I generated there is now in here. So we've got a bigger image as a base. This is the one that I meant to hit in paint. And then from here, this image now is 1024 by 1024. What I could do is make it slightly wider. Let's go. Let's try 1600, because that's divisible by 8, which the software, I believe, needs. And then we will change the photograph, the stable diffusion model that we're using, to one specially designed for in painting. Now I forget how to do this, actually. I should have researched this before I did it. Resize and fill. Yeah, I can't remember how you do this. Shit. Right. Yeah, what you can do, and I'm probably going to screw it up. What you can do is choose to have a larger canvas size and then have AI fill in the blanks, thinking about whatever prompt you've got here. So let me just see if I can do this. So I'm going to do resize and fill, maybe. Let's do, yeah, let's try 1600. And then script. Out painting. That's what I wanted, out painting. Yeah, here we go. Right. Let's keep that as it was. Let's outpaint to the left. So we're going to add more over here. I don't know if this is going to work at all, as I say. Color variation 0.5. Pixels to expand. Let's do 600. And let's pump that up. Again, experiment. Let's see what happens. Generate. God, this is probably not going to work. Well, no, it's done two things that I didn't want it to because I don't know what I'm doing. The first thing it's done is cropped off what we did have in the way of the image because I left that at 1024 by 1024. I should have enhanced that to 1600. And then the other thing that it's done is just created garbage there. And I don't, to be fair, know why that's done that. But there we go. I'm pretty sure that my stream has died because I've got no chats coming in from anybody. YouTube is misbehaving like something rotten, I think. Oh no. No, perhaps we are still live. Okay. So yeah, I did that wrong. Let's see what else we can do. Let's get this to 1624. Script out painting, yeah. Sampling steps 80 to 100. Euler A. So let's go. Sampling steps 80. And we're changing that to Euler A. So we're now 1624. Yeah, let's try that again. I don't know if this is going to work, but we'll try. That's better than it was. I mean, that's a pretty terrible connection between the image that we had previously and what it's generating. So maybe we need a different prompt. So start with, I don't want trees. So let's put that in the negative prompt. What else could we put in there? Now I'm using a model that's intended for in-painting. I'm not using the model that the actual artwork was generated with originally. So I might just see if I switch back to the previous engine, whether that'll be better for the job. Albeit it's not designed for in-painting. So let's interrupt and skip because I don't like the trees and all that stuff that it's generating. So let's try again. What are we getting? No, that really does look weird. Okay, this is going to take a bit of work to suss out. I mean, the other thing that I could do is start with a smaller base image, but one with the right proportions. So do something that's going to give me the correct frame in the first place. So yeah, that really isn't what I want. So let's skip that. Okay. But I think that first picture has kind of given me the courage to carry on with this in the way that I thought I should initially. I'm actually really pleased with how close to my initial idea that came out with. So certainly there's stuff that I can do with that. Right. Let's jump back. And hopefully that's been of interest. I don't know whether that's the kind of stuff that you guys are looking to see, or whether it's something that is way too off base compared to what I usually do for you to be interested. Maybe we'll attract some other people who aren't so much into techno and electronic music, and they'll join the crowd as well. But this is something I'm going to push on with. It won't be to the exclusion of my music. I'll keep doing music, and I'll be really keen to obviously catch up with you guys who write techno and ambient and stuff as well. But yeah, that's kind of where we're at for the minute. Other things that are going on, I'm creating a sound pack using the Novation Bass Station 2. I'm using that in some of my techno tracks because I'm using those samples and sticking them into the Novation circuit. So that's giving me an extra kind of sound source, if you like, because I didn't tend to use the samples on the circuit until now. The ones that I've done so far have been one shots. They've all been like analog drum sounds and some modulated sort of bleeps and bloops and things like that. So I'm going to keep building on that sound pack. I might even do some more production for it on a live stream. If that's something that you're interested in watching, just ping a message down in the comments, and I will try and get that out before the end of January. I'll do it in the format that you can load directly into the circuit if you have a circuit, and I will also put some WAV files in that pack so that if you've got a different piece of kit or you just use a DAW, for example, you can just load WAV files directly into there. And if you don't have a base station, it will give you some samples that you can use. If you have something in the way of an analog synth, you might create your own stuff already on that score, but it's something else that you can add to your packs if you like. But that's going to be it for me on this one. And if you liked this, I would really appreciate it if you click the thumbs up and all that kind of stuff, because that will give me an idea as to whether this is completely off base or whether this is of interest. But have a good week if I don't speak to you before, and I'll see you soon. Cheers.